What if everything you thought you knew about monsters was wrong? Deep in the deserts of the Southwest, there's a creature so terrifying it can wear the skin of animals and even humans. It's called the Skinwalker, and the stories surrounding it are darker than anything you've ever heard. Are Skinwalkers just folklore? Or is there something far more sinister lurking in the shadows?
Tonight, we are diving into the chilling truth behind these shape-shifting witches and real-life encounters that will make you question everything you think you know.
My name is Kayla.
My name is Xenu.
And we are Cauldron Combos. And I realized that our cauldron isn't turned on, so we can't do the smoky. It's all right, everybody.
No
Imagine it's
smoky
smoky.
today. I am so excited for this show today because the Skinwalkers are such a cool cryptid. Kayla wanted to do an episode about a dead 6-year-old, and I'm like, no one wants to hear that.
My favorite topic, my hobby. No, I'm kidding. Oh, my hobby. That sounds bad. So to briefly explain what Skinwalkers are before we get into the nitty-gritty and we talk about the stories of all the encounters people have had over the years with Skinwalkers, these crazy, weird, witchy, demon creatures, I don't even know. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on what they are in case you don't watch tens of thousands of videos on them like Xenu does.
Wait a minute.
So Skinwalkers are these shape-shifting creatures found often in Native American folklore, but not just in Native American folklore, specifically the
Navajos.
No,
Idaho.
Oh god, I feel like we were
No,
supposed to be
Zach's
respectful in this
Idaho.
episode specifically.
Oops.
Anyway,
The Skinwalker is a person, often a witch or a sorcerer, who gained the ability to transform into various animals, like wolves, bears, birds, and even the tricksy coyote.
we need this audio.
They don't howl like that. They go ow 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 ow. They more yep.
Yep.
Just to go into the origin of Skinwalkers, also known as Yi Nadlushi in the Navajo language, they are deeply rooted in Navajo culture and spiritual traditions. Their name literally translates to, by means of it, it goes on all fours. And we're not talking about your mom.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, yeah, baby.
An easy joke.
Referencing their ability to turn into animals, specifically dogs. I'm kidding. Sorry, Albanians. You're going to have to wait for the next podcast. Okay, that was a funny-ass joke. You're leaving that in.
So Skinwalkers embody the exact opposite of what Navajo culture really embodies, okay? There's the harmony, the spirituality, the balance. What?
So what you try to do with all your crystals?
Yeah. And the Navajo culture even has a term that they refer to reference their ideal balance or whatever, harmony in life, called hosho. And they even have rituals and prayers to restore hosho in times of imbalance, whether it be disease, something going wrong in their family's life, in the community. So essentially, Skinwalkers love chaos, the opposite of ho-ho. Right? Is that what it's called? Hosho. When the Navajo were forced onto the long walk to Bosque Redondo in the 1860s, suffering from displacement, famine, and oppression, stories of malevolent witches and skinwalkers gained traction. These tales served as a way to explain misfortune and externalize fears during a time of trauma for them. The Navajo spirituality encompasses dualities like light and darkness and balance and chaos.
It's like the Force.
Yes. While most medicine people in Navajo culture work to heal and protect, skinwalkers represent those who have chosen to weaponize their spiritual power for personal gain or vengeance, crossing moral boundaries that are considered irredeemable, like your in-laws. What? So what are the traditional beliefs and stories surrounding skinwalkers? Well, in Navajo oral traditions, skinwalkers are often depicted as lone individuals who live on the outskirts of society, like my dad did for many years until he came back to our family. That was a joke. No, more like my uncle. Anyway, skinwalkers operate in the darkness, operating on fear and secrecy to gain their way and manipulate people.
That's honestly the best way to manipulate people, is to scare
Just
them.
like your
based on experience.
And one of the most infamous tools of a skinwalker is something called corpse powder, a substance made from the remains of the dead, particularly bone fragments.
That's disgusting.
The powder is said to cause grave illness or death when blown into the face of victims. Many traditional stories involve skinwalkers targeting individuals or families out of jealousy or revenge. For example, a person might find inexplicable footprints around their home, hear knocking on their walls at night, or see fleeting shadows in the distance. Animals behaving strangely, such as a wolf walking on two legs or an owl watching a home for hours, are often interpreted as a sign of skinwalkers' presence. Ooh, so have you ever, seen an animal acting weirdly and it didn't have, I don't know, rabies or something?
Yeah, I've seen some weird animals.
I'm trying to think of like a time where I was just in nature and there was just an animal just staring at me and like wouldn't break the stare kind of thing.
I've gone on some good walks in nature
Mm.
recently, and I've gotten real close to some deers. Like,
A skinwalker?
probably not.
Okay. So
Uh,
you've never really experienced this like weird feeling from an animal that like,
no, I wish I had gone camping before. I feel
uh-huh.
like I would be such a ninny. I'd be like snuggling like a gun.
Oh my God.
I think skinwalkers more operate on the level of like, oh, they disappeared. That person's gone from our life. They're like no
Oh.
longer around.
Oh, interesting.
Someone with like one sibling, and then that sibling dies.
Yeah. Well, while we're, talking about the shape-shifting aspect, what are some of the skinwalkers' key characteristics and abilities? Like they're a superhero. What's their powers, all right? Shape-shifting is the most iconic power that they have, allowing them to transform into animals, like we said before. They often choose predators, like we said before, like the little coyote, yip, yip, yap, yap, dibba, dip,
Yeah,
dibba, dee.
most of these animals are really native to the American Southwest, which makes sense because that's where they operate.
Sometimes the skinwalker could be more of a non-predatory animal, like a bird or a deer.
I could see it being a rat, maybe.
Oh, rat. Little Peter Pettigrew. Petter. Ooh. In addition to their shape-shifting, skinwalkers are also known for their supernatural speed and agility. They're said to run faster than any human or natural animal, allowing them to escape pursuit easily, and they're often described as appearing to glide across the ground, leaving minimal or no footprints, which things that glide across the ground are scary AF. Like a snake, just something that like doesn't like have to pick up its feet to run.
There's
Something that's
actually
like
a phobia that has to do with that, I
really,
believe.
those Harry Potter marathons on a Saturday when you're just sitting and you're like, just eating chocolate and it's like it's on all day. Okay, that happened to me last weekend, and the Sorcerer's Stone was on, and in the end where that creature, which I guess is supposed to be Voldemort, spoiler alert, it like comes and is about to attack Harry, and it's like
Hmm.
it glides towards him. It literally looks like a Halloween prop, like, ooh, and then
Yeah.
the centaur's like, I don't know. That just reminded me of like the gliding skinwalker. In addition to gliding and being really fast, they can also imitate voices of loved ones, which is a big one. A lot of the stories of skinwalkers, some people usually have this in it that they thought they heard their wife, their mother who died or something in the woods, echoing, calling their name or something like that. They exploit the trust and emotional vulnerability of their victims. This ability is particularly sinister as it manipulates familial and community bonds.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the stories behind pop culturally skinwalkers are people in the woods and then they hear their wife calling out to them and you're like, wait a
Mm.
minute, this doesn't sound right, bro. Can you imagine like you're in an outhouse in the middle of the night and you just hear a woman screaming in the woods? I think I would
Yeah.
I think I would just stay in the
But that
outhouse.
doesn't really add up because most husbands just ignore their wives, so especially when they're screaming.
Oh wait, who's smacking her? It's my turn, I thought.
No, what the? Okay, anyway, but in addition to mimicking their people's loved ones, they also use manipulation to get into their victims' heads, okay? They can invade dreams, causing nightmares. Have you been having nightmares recently? Yeah, me too. Maybe it's a skinwalker messing with us, okay? You never know. Or they can project thoughts into a person's mind, leading to paranoia, fear, or even insanity. Also reminds me of Harry Potter. I think it's just because I watched this whole marathon, okay? Where like Voldemort gets into his head and like controls his thoughts and stuff, or he tries not letting him, and
Mm,
Snape's like, don't let it, and then he looks into Snape's mind and he's like, mommy,
maybe J.K. Rowling is a
mommy
big
Snape.
fan
She
of
is.
Navajo folklore.
She does use Skinwalker. I forgot what it is. Google it while we whatever, if you can. But so in addition to the mental manipulation, they use invisibility and stealth. Skinwalkers are nearly impossible to detect when they do not want to be seen. They are said to blend seamlessly into the shadows, appearing and disappearing at will. And also, they use, like we said before, the corpse powder and other ritualistic tools to inflict physical and spiritual harm on their victims. And some of these victims have unexplained illnesses that randomly occur, bad luck, or bad breath. I lied about the bad breath. I just wanted to see if you would notice if I snuck that in, but I know you're Googling the Harry Potter thing. So anyway, did you find anything about the
Uh,
Skinwalker? I saw something about
J.K.
J.K.
Rowling's
Rowling
under
said something.
fire for writing about Native American wizards.
But what,
I don't know. It's the Guardian.
in addition to what powers, I guess, the
You
Skinwalkers
mentioned the
have.
curses and
Oh,
diseases.
not yet.
What's a scary monster if it can't give you cancer?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
What's a scary? Okay, you just wanted to say that. No, that's just called DuPont Chemicals.
The DuPont CEO is a skinwalker, bro.
All the CEOs, United Healthcare CEO, Luigi was having some nightmares, some
No,
bad dreams, the
Luigi's-
back pain,
I
man.
bet Luigi's a skinwalker now.
So what were their behavior, what's their motivation, and what's their methods that they use, these skinwalkers, to sneakily attack, get in your head?
Much like the Sith, skinwalkers are often driven by negative emotions, such as envy, hatred, and anger.
These emotions fuel their transformation from human to something monstrous. They act as lone predators, stalking their prey under the cover of night and using their powers to torment their victims over time. I wonder if there's something, I mean, I should be the one telling the audience, but I haven't seen anything about skinwalkers that don't work alone. What if there's a network of skinwalkers and they have like a dating app? Skinwalkers. Skin on skinwalkers.
Oh, I wish Dale was here. He would have a pun.
I did. Skin on skin walkers. Like, you know, skin on skin. Like they meeting up. They having... You don't know what that means? Okay. They're also known to be deeply vindictive. Many stories suggest that a person targeted by a skinwalker has wronged the skinwalker in some way, knowingly or unknowingly. Okay, that's not fair. Unknowingly. How?
What if you cut them off in traffic and they just haunt you for the rest of your life?
You're like, I don't know what I did. Yeah, that would be actually worse if you unknowingly, you know. But anyway, it could be refusing a favor, gossiping about someone, or even being more successful than a neighbor could attract the attention of a skinwalker. Well, what are you supposed to do with your life?
No, it's
like,
probably boasting.
oh,
It's
well, so like America.
like you slept with your neighbor's wife because you're successful. Then he's gonna call the skin doctor the skinwalker on you, bro.
The dermatologist. So what's the historical context of skinwalkers? Although we talked about the origin, let's get into more of like how did that transform over time, all right? So as we said, it's rooted in the ancient Navajo worldview where balance and harmony with nature were paramount. But then the arrival of the European settlers in the American Southwest came around, and this disrupted this balance that the Navajo cherished, whatever, so much in their lives. And the introduction of the European settlers, obviously, like we know from history, brought new diseases, forced relocations, and cultural upheavals. And these disruptions provided fertile ground for the emergence and evolution of skinwalker stories. So as like all these bad things started, you know, as the Europeans came and started bringing this imbalance and all these hardships to the Navajo, you know, people, after that, they were like, okay, something's going on. Something has to be happening. And instead of it just being the Europeans, you know, it's the skinwalkers bringing it on. Before colonization, Navajo spirituality was built on a foundation of interconnectedness with the natural and spiritual worlds. Stories of shape-shifting beings likely existed, but were framed as part of a larger cosmology. Witches, including skinwalkers, were understood as practitioners who violated sacred laws by using their knowledge for personal gain or harm.
But post-colonial era, after the white folk come in, like the early 19th century, the Navajo people endured a lot of trauma, such as the Long Walk, a forced relocation to Bosque Redondo. The displacement combined with the suffering and starvation deepened communal fears and mistrust in people in general. And this is really when the Skinwalker legends intensified, often serving as a way to explain sudden deaths, misfortune, and betrayals. I mean, that's kind of convenient. I mean, every culture has a scapegoat. Just going to put that out there.
This is the fun part when we get to talk about the alleged encounters with skinwalkers. What are the actual examples, okay?
So we have some traditional encounters as well as the modern ones. We'll get into Skinwalker Ranch, so don't get your panties in a bundle.
Yeah, but the traditional accounts, the first one we're talking about is the watching wolf. An elder recounted a story from their youth when a massive wolf appeared outside their family's hogan, which is a traditional Navajo dwelling, like their house. The wolf had glowing eyes and watched the family for hours without moving. But when the father shot at it, the bullet seemed to have no effect on the skinwalker. These things are crazy. The next morning, they found a series of human footprints leading away from where the wolf had stood. Because it's wearing its skin.
Ew.
Wait, does it like really? Or is it just kind of like swapping? The wolf's like in a human body, like getting a Dunkin'. It's like, can I get my Dunkin' Donuts? You want to talk about the shape-shifting relative?
Yeah, so the story of the shape-shifting relative, often told, involves a family member acting strangely before disappearing for days at a time. During these absences,
Daddy? Thought he was just getting milk. I didn't know he was a skinwalker.
Kayla, that's years. During these absences, the family experienced strange happenings, such as scratching on the walls, disembodied voices, and sightings of an awfully peculiar coyote. When a relative returned, the avoided questions and seemed to have inexplicable injuries.
Whoa.
So these are just like, that's like just the tall tale.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got that one weirdo brother that disappears for a couple days at a time, comes home and his hair's messy, and
I thought you
know.
were gonna say he did a school
In
We all have that
what?
one brother we're worried about.
No, it's that one guy in school. He got to be
Oh
friends
yeah,
with
that's
him.
true. With the glasses, the whatever. What are those called?
Transition lenses.
Yeah, transition lenses.
You're
The cargo
always
pants.
long, the transition lenses, boy.
What stuff do you put in those pants? Why do you have cargo pants with all these pockets if you wear one glasses? You can carry 2 glasses around. You don't need to be with the
Hey, man, you never know what he's got in his cargo. He's got a lot of cargo on him. I realized that like 2 years ago. It's embarrassing. Don't even start me.
What? Like you used to wear cargo pants, then you
No,
stopped?
I realized they're called cargo pants because you can hold a lot of cargo.
Let's talk about some modern encounters with skinwalkers now that we talk about the traditional ones. One modern encounter is the highway stalker. A man driving late at night through the Four Corners region reported seeing a figure running alongside his car. Imagine seeing someone like
I'd freak the
fast as F boy running along your car on the highway, like at the same speed as you're going. Oh, that's crazy. Keeping pace even at high speeds, the figure was vaguely human, but had elongated limbs and glowing eyes. When he stopped the car, the figure disappeared into the desert, leaving behind deep claw marks on the road. Okay, when he stopped, why was he even chasing him though?
Yeah,
then?
why would you stop?
Yeah, but he stops and then the thing runs away.
It's probably
What?
a res car and he's
Just-
driving it in reverse.
Like, why wouldn't you just ram into it? Oh, because they don't work?
Yeah, anyway,
Oh.
another good story is called The Mimicking Voice. And a group of
The mimicking
campers.
voice. A group of campers. Sorry, I was doing a mimicking voice. Ah!
A group of campers near Flagstaff, Arizona shared an unsettling experience. Late at night, they heard what sounded to be like one of their friends calling for help in the woods. Never do that. However, all of their friends were accounted for sitting around the fire. When they investigated, they find no one, but their campsite was later surrounded by animal tracks, which seemed to change to human tracks halfway around.
It was the animal tracks, and then it transitions immediately to human. People could just make that, though. I could just
It's
take my cat.
Anamorphous.
Doof, doof,
Do you remember those
doof
books,
into the ground.
Anamorphous?
No.
Where you could flip through the pages and in the corner of the book they change from a human to an animal?
I don't.
Bro, your
care
library
about those.
sucked growing up.
I
Okay,
didn't- I just liked my one fairy book.
now our biggest one, Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes, the Skinwalker Ranch, which I had no idea about. Apparently, it's a crazy paranormal phenomenon. I don't know how I didn't know about this. It's really insane. Oh, I live on a rock. Ha ha ha. Well, you live in the Skinwalker Ranch now. Goodbye. Suffer. The Skinwalker Ranch is located in northeastern Utah's Basin is one of the most famous hotspots for paranormal and unexplained phenomena in the world. Spanning over 500 acres, the ranch is named after the Navajo legend of the
Yinadaluchi.
Thank you. Or Skinwalker, a shape-shifting witch, like we said, believed to possess supernatural powers. However, the phenomenon reported at the ranch extend far beyond Navajo lore, encompassing UFO sightings, cattle mutilations, strange lights, cryptid encounters, and poltergeist-like activity. The ranch gained public attention in the 90s when it was owned by the Sherman family. Classic white family name, Sherman. Almost immediately after moving in, the Shermans reported a series of terrifying events. Like we said, the cattle mutilations, the unexplained lights and orbs, like the UFO sightings, cryptid sightings, the ghosts. Before the Shermans, local Native American tribes, including the Ute people, had long avoided this area, considering it cursed or dangerous. According to local lore, the land was associated with skinwalkers due to a supposed curse placed by the Navajo during a historic conflict that they had. Imagine buying that and then afterwards finding that out.
Well, in 1996, a billionaire, Robert Bigelow, the founder of Bigelow Aerospace, which is a funny name for a company,
Bigelow, Bigelow. Okay.
purchased the ranch to study the phenomenon scientifically. Under his direction, the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, conducted investigations despite numerous reports of strange occurrences, including electromagnetic anomalies, UFO sightings. No conclusive evidence was ever released. In 2016, the ranch was sold to a company called Adamantium Holdings, which intensified its security and secrecy around the property. Good marketing technique. The new ownership sparked renewed interest, and the site became a focus of the History Channel show, The Secret of the Skinwalker Ranch, which documents ongoing investigations and unexplained events.
See, that sounds like such an interesting show, but those shows are just so bad. I'd rather a YouTuber go there and do it than some weird show.
I feel like finding Bigfoot has done more harm for the Bigfoot community than it's helped as someone in the Bigfoot community.
In the Bigfoot community.
What's it to you?
But yeah, the Skinwalker Ranch thing is pretty crazy. I would love to go one day. I don't know if people are allowed. Are people allowed to go to Skinwalker Ranch? Or, I mean, I guess it's owned by this
I think you can go in some
company.
degree. I'm sure
but
you
it says
could.
it intensified its security and secrecy around the property. So I guess you can't really unless
I'm sure there's a price for it.
I'm sure there's a price for everything. Besides the ranch, what are some other notable lore around skinwalkers and historical events that, you know, have happened with skinwalkers?
Well, as much like early Americans, we did do a Navajo witch purge because we like purging all the witches.
Yes.
So in the late 19th century, Navajo communities experienced a surge in these witchcraft accusations, especially with settlers around and unexpected things happening. People just like blaming people. What else is new? Welcome to society. Several individuals were identified as skinwalkers and subsequently hunted and killed, which is wild because if they were skinwalkers, can't catch me, boy.
Were they the Navajos doing it? I mean, that would make more sense because the Navajos are the ones believing in skinwalkers. So are the Navajos going in their own community being like, you're a witch, you're a witch, you're a witch? Or I wonder if it's like any white people
it's
involved.
Just like the community.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure it's mixed.
But either way, I never even heard about the Navajo witch purge, so that's pretty crazy. It was, you know, such a big lore
I mean, I think it really highlights the fear and mistrust that skinwalkers, you know, invoke within communities. How do I protect myself from skinwalkers, Kayla?
How do you protect yourself? I'll tell you. You could buy Kayla's potion. Like a Southern Rancher that sells
one of those guys on
Navajo
Fox News
protection.
that sells like metal that you take pills for. It's like, oh, take this zinc oxide aluminum compound twice a day.
You can use promo code DonJr10 to get 10% off of your Navajo Skinwalker anti-acid. What the? But anyway, here are some spiritual and physical measures that you can take if you are worried of skinwalkers.
I don't know if anyone can be doing sacred smudging.
So there's smudging, okay? You're smudging your butt on the wall, on the window, smudge. So dumb.
Doing a pressed ham.
Snail trail. No, but smudging, burning sacred herbs like sage, cedar, or juniper is a widespread practice to cleanse spaces and drive away evil entities. You could do some ceremonial practices.
But then you need a medicine man.
Yeah.
Or medicine woman, in quotes, because you gotta say that, although there's only medicine men.
And they perform these specific ceremonies, such as the blessing way, to restore harmony and protect individuals from harm. But some physical things you can do. Buy yourself a guard dog, okay? Or no, you know what? Adopt, don't chop, okay? Go to the little humane society.
Go get a pit bull that's been smacked around a bit.
Oh no! I have a pit bull that's been smacked around.
Well, that will protect you.
Yeah, don't try it. All right. So obviously dogs can sense and deter even skinwalkers. Dogs barking or acting erratically at night is often interpreted as a sign of a skinwalker's presence. But in addition to guard dogs, there's also the community vigilance. By working together, communities can expose potential skinwalkers like they did in the witch hunt. You! Weakening their power, it is said that a skinwalker loses their ability if their human identity is actually revealed. Wow, what an easy fix.
That's weird because
then why'd they kill him then?
It's kind of contradictory, not gonna lie, with the legend that my brother's a skinwalker. He disappears for days at a time and doesn't with inexplicable injuries.
No, babe, he's taking your money, gambling it away, and buying.
Welcome to Res Life, baby.
What?
Welcome to Res Life.
Welcome to the Southwest. Tex-Mex cuisine.
Oh God,
Skinwalker lean.
But I feel like in modern culture, skinwalkers still prevail. I mean, look at the History Channel show. There's so many YouTube
J.K.
videos.
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling's writing
Not
about
that,
them.
The Navajos don't want her mentioned.
You can find some pretty scary skinwalker accounts on YouTube from people who are Navajo that are like this old guy. He's an EMT, like an ambulance driver in like Navajo country, and tells this whole long story.
Guys, and if you're interested in hearing us read all of these really popular Reddit true stories, well, according to the writer, if you want to hear us read through them on live stream, make sure to subscribe.
Skinwalkers in general are a really interesting theory behind, explaining things that you don't want to have an answer to, but you kind of want to blame someone. No, blame the skinwalker.
Yeah.
But I think out of all Native American lore, this is by far the most popular and very scary.
Yeah. And although we were, we tell jokes. That's what this podcast, we try at least. We tell jokes, but we do want to stay respectful and be respectful of the Navajo culture. Also, they don't apparently, I don't know, this is a thing that happens. They don't like telling like white people about skinwalkers. Like they keep some of the lore like is just like we don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I don't know how deep it goes. I don't know if it's just people like, no one really
I
asked.
wonder if tribal councils have photos of skinwalkers. You can find photos of skinwalkers online, but with AI nowadays, I mean, you just got to be respectful, guys. Just because Navajos can be skinwalkers doesn't mean all Navajos are skinwalkers.
I don't think you have
You
to
said
say
that earlier.
I said all of them are?
You said every single one,
No, I
even the
didn't.
children. It's like watching
Even their guard
those
dogs.
Navajo babies are gonna start singing like a lady to
No.
get you out in the woods.
No, guys, no. Yeah, okay. Anyway, thank you. With that, thank you so much for watching Cauldron Convos. Make sure to subscribe again if you aren't already, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.